Hey, what's up? It's Comic95, the Savior, and for this video, I'm going to be talking about something that I've spoken about in other videos before, and that is the need for a bachelor's degree. But in this video, I really want to address some of the comments that I got on my videos in which I talk about the need for one. So, first things first that I want to get out of the way. This is not my personal opinion. It is on the Ministry of Justice's website that a bachelor's degree is required. I have been to immigration countless times, several different cities across Japan, and I can assure you that a bachelor's degree is most certainly needed in order to get a, work visa here in Japan without obviously being married to a Japanese national or a native, Japanese person. If you plan to get into a sham marriage or you're okay with working part-time because you have a student visa, whatever, then this doesn't apply to you. But I'm talking about for those that are planning to come here on a work visa and or that want to, switch to a work visa and do things the legal way without getting yourself into a rushed relationship. I am not going to get on you about sham marriages in this video. I have a totally separate video on that. I am not going to tell you how to live your life. But what I will say is, whether you like it or not, despite all of the memes and blogs and videos that you come across bashing degrees, a bachelor degree is truly more helpful than it is hurtful. But you have to be real with yourself. If you're going to go to school to study something fun like graphic design, etc., the likelihood of you being able to make a name for yourself is slim to none. It's a skill that anyone can teach themselves with a computer, and oftentimes people that make the most money from fields like that don't have a degree. However, when it comes to things that require a license or that you have to be a professional for, like being a doctor or a nurse or even a teacher, which in my opinion, same thing goes for teaching, you don't need a license to be a good teacher, but it does help, and it's normally required to teach legally in most places. It is a need to have a degree in order to obtain licensure in most cases. Thus, it ultimately helps you in the long run. It's a proven fact that people that have a bachelor's degree generally make significantly more than those that only have a high school diploma. And beyond that, you expand the opportunities that you have for jobs, and it makes your interviews so much easier. I talked about this in my other video, so I won't go into detail on that too much, but obviously, if you have a degree in education, my degree speaks for itself. All I have to do is mention my degree. Whereas someone who has a degree in graphic design, now you have to explain why the sudden change. Your degree is in graphic design. Why do you want to teach English? You see how much more difficult your interview is than mine's. Not just that, despite the fact that you went to school for the same thing, you can't really expect to get the same kind of raises that I do because my education is related to my work. I generally start off on the higher scale for a starting salary, whereas you will either stay at the lower scale or, you're not really able to negotiate the same way that I can. So, beyond just working in Japan, your degree is good for you back in your home country. So don't just base your degree off of being here because, at the end of the day, it's not a requirement, it's not a need to have a degree in order to teach English here in Japan. But if you want to teach English outside of working at a dispatch company, outside of working at Nova or GABA or Eon or any of those type of places, then you most certainly do need a bachelor degree. Because the real jobs here that pay good salaries, they care about what your degree is in, and they do require you to have a degree even if you are living on a spouse visa. They want to be able to brag to their, students' parents or students and say that all of our teachers are qualified, all of them, have degrees, 4-year degrees, whatever. They can't say that if you don't. So, there's so much more to it. You will almost never see a job description that says any applicant can apply as long as you have a valid visa. They almost always say a bachelor's degree is a requirement. Now, of course, you can go around this. Just because an employer says that doesn't mean that they won't hire you. Most jobs say that they only hire native speakers, but you can definitely find a few that are still willing to hire you if you are not a native English speaker. So, now that that's out of the way, my point is having a degree makes things easy for you, both in Japan and outside of Japan. And number 2, you can't say that all degrees are bad or that they don't work out for most people. It depends on what you choose to study. Naturally, we choose to, pick a field that we are most interested in. We want to go to school to study things that are fun, whether it be fashion, whether it be design, whatever the case might be, but we often don't think about our job prospects. You can't go to school, get a degree in something that has no future for you. For example, the job market is overcrowded, the salary is low, you need tons of experience, etc., just to get your foot in the door. That makes it super challenging. You're still going to have student loans and bills to pay, so why choose to study something that, is not going to be a need? A while back, before I even started college, or I don't even think I was in high school, I think I was either in junior high or elementary school, I remember one of my mother's friends who was actually a nurse herself, and she said to me and my mom, which I don't think my mom really gave her 2 cents on this, but she expressed the importance of choosing, when you go to school, a career in which they're always going to need help in. The jobs disappear, like, the career field for being a librarian or being, a typewriter, whatever, things like that, they've pretty much, a typist, whatever you want to call it, they've gone away. There are degrees that no longer exist, or degrees that exist, but nobody's really hiring for them anymore. Thus, these people have had to learn new skills in order to accommodate or change, for the current, work climate, whatever you want to call it. So, choosing something like being a nurse, a teacher, a doctor, etc., there's always going to be a need for doctors and teachers. Sure, we have automated ways, like we have robots that can do neurosurgery, and you can learn from YouTube. You don't have to actually sit and listen to a teacher lecture you in a classroom. But there's always going to be a want for physical teachers. There's always going to be a want for a physical caregiver. That's the reason why, despite the fact that you can learn English on YouTube, you can watch Netflix, Disney, etc., there are still millions of people that are paying millions of dollars a year to, if not billions, to learn English. Every single day, people want to learn English. They send messages to teachers. They arrange lessons. They pay $30, $50 an hour. Why pay that much just for free conversation when you can easily watch a YouTube video? You can easily buy Rosetta Stone or buy some English books and self-study. It's not the same. I'm not encouraging you to go get a degree in education or to become a teacher, but I am saying if you want to be in Japan and you want to teach here long term and you don't want to be dependent on a spouse or on your spouse, then I would highly suggest that you do choose a degree in education and that you do, reconsider becoming a teacher. Teaching is not for everyone, and I recognize that. It's a hard job. It often, goes without thanks. The difficulty varies based on the student's age, their willingness to learn, and even, the city, the location, the school itself. There are a lot of factors that you have to consider. I'm not bashing people that chose to be graphic designers or electricians or anything else. I personally wanted to be a graphic designer, and I bought myself a Wacom tablet, and I realized, oh my god, I don't know how to use this, it's too difficult. And I still plan to learn, hopefully someday. But you get my drift. It's not something that I can get stable work in without a doubt. It's difficult. Can you find work? Yes. I personally have friends right now who have tablets, who are, graphic designers, etc., and I'm not bashing them. They do little odd jobs, but most of them don't have any real work. They're living at home with their mom. They're pissed off about their degree. They're in debt. Can you get a job and work in Japan with a degree in graphic design? Can you become a translator here? Can you use your Japanese to get work? Yes, 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 and yes. But the likelihood of you being able to get a high salary with these degrees is significantly less. The likelihood of you being able to interview at ease is significantly lower. Can you do it? Most certainly. But why would you want to take a chance? Why would you want to make things harder for yourself when there's a guaranteed, proven way that things will be easy for yourself? The other reality, too, is that you have to be willing to work for your degree. A lot of people think that they go to school, get a degree, and then they're just supposed to magically get a job. And that can and does happen. But that's not the case for everyone. What I mean by that is, people want to go to school and get a degree in something, but then they're not willing to work for free, they're not willing to do any type of internship, and they don't know how to write their resume or create their resume, they don't know how to improve their resume, they don't know how to gain work experience. Thus, nobody wants to hire them. Even as a teacher, it's always been a catch-22. I still, to this day, I talk about and brag about my experience that I have back from being a kid and being a camp counselor and working at daycares, etc. It all comes in handy to this very day when I'm doing interviews. But I didn't get paid for a lot of this work. And for the work that I did get paid for, I was being underpaid. I was getting between $8 to $12 an hour. I was proud of my work, and I liked what I was doing. And I knew that in the long run, me working those $10 an hour jobs, those $12 an hour jobs, those $15 an hour jobs, they would pay off and become $20 an hour, and $30 an hour, and $40 an hour. You have to be willing to do the same thing in a lot of these cases. People don't want to hire someone fresh out of school with no experience, in most circumstances. Sometimes your experience and qualifications are great, but you just suck at interviews. You're not as good of a person as you think you are. Maybe during your interview, your personality seems like trash. You don't seem like a good employee. You don't have a solid work ethic or history. You can change these things about yourself. I personally struggle with interviews for a long time. I have social anxiety, I'm super awkward, and I found interviewing to be very difficult. So even if my resume or application looked good, oftentimes once I would actually meet someone, I would be so strange, awkward, weird, I could feel that I didn't get the job and that I fluffed my interview. I've messed up interviews since I've had my degree. It's life, we're human. But please don't let somebody that doesn't have a degree, or someone with an irrelevant degree, or someone that's lazy and decided not to work on their resume, not to do any internships, not to do any volunteer work, talk you out of getting a degree. You can do anything. There's always exceptions to every rule. So sure, there's always going to be someone that'll tell you, oh, don't believe her. I got to Japan without a degree. I'm not married. I did the certificate program. How many people have successfully gotten their visa approved through the route that you said? Most employers will not be willing to even look into your application and give you a call back unless you have a bachelor's degree. Most of the people that are living here that don't have a degree are lying to you about how they're staying here. They're married to a Japanese person. They're from a third world country and living here on a visa that is allowing them to work through a specific program that is temporary, typically hard labor type jobs, in which they're essentially doing dangerous, hazardous like work, where they're supposed to learn a skill that can be brought back to their home country. These programs aren't even available for Americans. If you're from another country, great, maybe this does work for you. But again, it's a temporary solution unless you plan to get into a sham marriage. Maybe you are in a relationship with a legitimate Japanese person and you have real plans to get married and it's not for visa purposes. Whatever, I'm not the one to judge you. But I'm telling you how to do things on your own, and I'm giving you advice on how to make it easy for you, or for everyone. This is not something that just works for one person. Anyone that has a degree in education that is from a native English-speaking country, this will help you significantly. Your job process, your interview process will be a breeze. I cannot say the same for someone that chooses to study Japanese or that chooses to, go into the IT field, etc. Are there jobs here? Yes. Do they pay well? Typically, no. They pay the same, if not less, than what teaching jobs pay. There's less jobs, there's less security. You have less work options. So even if you are that one lucky person that finds a job as an electrician or that finds a job working at an IT company, let's say your pay might even be good. All it takes is for you to get fired, for you to quit, for you to relocate and move to another city. Where are you going to work now? Who's going to hire you? Your job options are super limited. I've moved in Japan several times, and every time I've moved, I've not only gotten an increase in my salary, I've gotten more experience, and I've always been able to easily find a job. And what I mean by that is, like I said, because my experience is relevant, my degree is relevant. People need English teachers all throughout the country. It's not limited to one place. There is not a need for foreigners working at IT companies across Japan. That's not true. In most jobs where they want someone that can speak both English and Japanese, as I said in my last video, they would much rather hire a Japanese person that has learned English, because their Japanese will be way better than yours. And in some cases, their English is too. No matter how well you can speak Japanese, you'll never be able to read and write it at their level. It'll never be native. You might be able to talk close to a native, but you'll never be able to read and write like one. As a native Japanese person, if they learn to master English, they have the best of both worlds. So this isn't to bash you, make you feel bad, make you feel little. I told you guys, I was in your position before. I thought about doing all the crazy, bad, illegal things just like how you probably have. I came here as a student myself. This isn't me on my high horse telling you that I'm better than you. I'm warning you that you're wasting your time. Because I wasted years trying to find other ways to come to Japan. I wasted countless dollars trying to buy different certificates and take different classes. It's all a waste. Immigration doesn't care about your sob story or what this website said about this degree or certificate. They will tell you anything that you want to hear because they want your money. So of course they're going to say, oh yeah, everyone wants you to have the certificate. Certificates are nice perks, bonuses, and add-ons on your resume when you already have a bachelor degree, but they will never take the place of one. And that's just facts. So you can hate me, you can think I'm full of it, you can think I'm a jerk, you can think I'm mean, whatever. I'm being real with you. You need to wake up and smell the coffee. And if my honesty, me being blunt with you, makes me a bitch, makes me a jerk, makes me whatever, then so be it. I would rather you hate me for telling you the truth than for you to love me for telling you a lie. It's easy to get on YouTube. It's easy to make blog posts and tell people what they want to hear. I can lie to you and say anything. I know what gets views. I said this before. I would have 1 million subscribers right now if I made my whole channel just about who I've had sex with, what I've done, etc. It's easy. But I have morals, I have pride, I care about myself, I care about my children. Everybody doesn't need to know every little thing about me and my life. I share a lot, but there's things that I refuse to share, and I'm not willing to sell myself out for subscribers and or money. It's easy to lie or expose people, etc. In which, again, I could easily make videos. I've had celebrities, like literally, slide in my DMs and ask me for help. Celebrities on embarrassing stuff. Which if I shared it, I would easily rack up 1 million views. But I don't want to hurt people like that. It's not my job, not my goal, not my place. And I know what goes around comes around. You reap what you sow. So anyway, not trying to make this all sad, sentimental, whatever. I'm just telling you, if you want to get to Japan, stop being lazy. You have to make it a goal. Tell yourself, I'm going to go to Japan. Set a goal, set a deadline, make some changes. You spend more time trying to get information online, to try to figure out how to, beat the system, etc., than you do working with it. There's clear goals put in place that tell you what you need to do to get here. Just follow them. Most of you think you can't afford school because you've never tried to afford school. You've never even looked into it. You just told yourself, my parents don't have money, I can't go. You've never even used the free grants, the financial aid that's waiting on you. Some of you don't qualify for financial aid, but you've never bothered to take the steps to, rebuild or to build your credit or help your parents build theirs. So that this way you can get the loans that you need to go to school. I will make some more videos to share with you guys to give you more advice on getting to Japan. But again, I'm just giving you my real honest opinion on what I think you should do, about what degree you should go after. I'm not telling you, that you have to do this, but it's the easiest way to get here is to get a bachelor's degree in education. It will make your interview process so much easier and give you a wide variety of jobs that you can apply to with much higher salary options, and it'll give you easy negotiations because you already have the work experience, you already have the license, you have the degree, you're a native English speaker. You're literally like their dream for a teacher, especially if you happen to be young. So that's that as far as that goes. Again, I hope you found this video to be helpful. Once again, I'm not bashing you if you don't have a degree, or if you have a degree in one of the fields that I said. There's plenty of other ones that I didn't mention. Long story short, if your degree is in anything outside of education, it's not ideal for working in Japan. But what I will say, education or English, anything related to education, it's not ideal. but having a degree is what you need. You can have a degree in anything. You can have a degree in zoology. It doesn't matter. Any degree you have is enough to get a job in Japan because you can get visa sponsorship. You don't need a degree to work in Japan. You can work without a degree if you are a student or if you are married to a Japanese national, and there's a couple of other exceptions to this rule. You can get visa sponsorship through a point system and, through other ways without having a bachelor's degree, but these ways are extremely rare, and most employers are not willing to work with you on this. Even for those that have a degree, a lot of jobs have a catch-22, where they want you to already have visa sponsorship, and thus they'll sponsor your visa upon its expiration, but are not willing to be the ones to sponsor your visa from the get-go, because they're afraid of you getting your visa and quitting the company. So that's that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, please leave a comment down below. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe, and you can also follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. You can add me on Snapchat, and I have a Facebook fan page as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you have more questions about, working, living in Japan, please check out my playlist on my YouTube homepage. Thank you for watching. Bye.